Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone, which feel well. Peace and much love, honors and blessings, salutations to the elect of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, which hold their conduct, composure, and integrity, standing and believing, holding fast the faith in the proper and true and correct names, starting with the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, but his name is Yahweh. Yahweh being the name of who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh is his name. And then you have Yahushai, the Son of God, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. But that is not his name, it is Yahushai. That is why the elect, are special, because they can retain that information and believe it to the point that we know it. That's strong faith. To have faith in something to the point that you can know it. All right? That's like a sealed faith. All right? But Yahweh and Yahushai are the names. Call Halayim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. But kind of lesson entitled, are you still watching? All right? And this is going into the big talk of the news, our president of America, being on his high horse against these other nations, against China and Korea, North or South Korea? Salakia, I always get it mixed up. Another country also joined together to come against Trump. You've had this tariff war going on now for a couple of months, or about a month and a half, 2 months, whatever. And since the beginning of 2025. And, it's causing a lot of noise with Trump against the nations, And meanwhile, I'm going to just say this right away, we're living in the time of the war on great ignorance, pursuant to Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter. All right, these devils, these elites of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, they took their shot, man, and they did it. Set up a system to deceive the masses, and it works perfectly. That's why you're always exhausted, you're tired, so you're unaware, or you don't care, you're too lazy to inquire about what's really going on around you. While these elites are working towards a global control over all the masses of people on the planet, you fat ass Americans are just sitting there like, man, y'all fucking bugged out, y'all crazy, y'all just keep saying the same shit. They wouldn't do that, the government wouldn't do that. Meanwhile, the government created a word, going back to the Latin, that literally means to control the mind. The word government itself means to control the mind. Governor mentis. Governor being control, mentis being the mind. It literally sounds mind. All right? Mentality almost. But this is the great war of ignorance that we live in today, in these times. All right? Trump's been beating these nations with these tariffs, and he ain't giving a fuck. And you people are applauding as if somehow it's going to benefit you. But to offset, to keep that, to bring it back to where the economy can keep on growing, they're fucking taking away or increasing prices against you that affect you. So how the fuck how are you applauding for tariffs? How is that in any way beneficial or gainful for you? You're gonna be having to pay higher prices on gas, foods, parts for your car, vehicles. Okay? This is the great war of ignorance, because you applauding. Fuck yeah, I had to hear that shit every goddamn day at my job, man. Especially with my boss, man. He constantly watching this shit on his breaks. I'm just like, bro, you're silly. What was it, 500, how much, like 550 million or 500 something billion, I think. Or maybe even more than that. Maybe I'm really off, but it's a very high billion number. Oh no, Elon apparently found a $1 trillion deficit while part of the Doge. Nobody's stepping down as it may, whatever. But where's the money? Before I even made the lesson, I kept seeing a bunch of Cash App shit popping up for apparently telling us claim your 2,500. Because Cash App was caught up in some illegal shit. But they're not telling you that the opportunity to make that claim was like last fucking year. So why your people are just being turned around and tossed in circles, man. Swung by the leg up and down like a lasso, man. But some brother made a video the other day saying you can feel it in the air that civil war is on the rise, man. World war is on the rise. It's in the air. And that's why the question is, are you still watching? Because I made a couple of lessons I actually made when I haven't posted it, but within that lesson I was talking about, being tired. And, watching can be tiring, man. Who was it? I don't know if it was a movie I just watched or what, but someone made the statement on how with the mind, when it's constantly being told something, a lot of people, majority of people usually miss or they can't take it. They can't process the information properly. And I believe that there was a statistic going back a few years now where it talked about how more than half of the population, but that number is more than half, man. It's like it's got to be 75% above of the population in America are people, which is two different statistics, but stated that they don't have internal dialogue. So they literally run and do what they're going to do without, weighing the balance or the actions out. They just do it. Nothing to stop them from calculating or counseling or, walking with discretion. So, that going back to what I just said too with the war on the ignorance. This is the great war of ignorance, man. Because, I decided to take this drive, man. I had to get out the house, just whatever, my own reasons. And, I said I was going to take this drive, but I'm looking and we're in spring, right? If I'm not mistaken, or we're getting close to it. And, everybody's still doing the same circuit of what they do. Because up here right now, not up here, but fishing season's coming in. Well, right now, walleye is a thing. You can fish for walleye. And, everybody's just doing the same thing. Now, Jake is on the same bullshit every day, whether it's rain, sleet, hail, or snow, man. But nobody's aware or looking at what's going on. Nobody understands what's about to be impacted with Trump. And, these other nations, man, said that they're willing to negotiate with Trump. But Trump ain't having it. Trump's being a bitch, man. He's being a little asshole. But the scriptures say that he is more stout than his fellows. Trump trying to talk shit to Zelensky, a couple of weeks back during their little talk they were having. And Trump, my guy, bro, like the only reason you could talk like that is because you got guards on you, man. You can't fight. And you're not a real warrior, man. This man's only picked up a sword and he danced with it. He danced with the sword, man. Our president is supposed to be a king that could defend, but is he defending the people? No, he's the elder Yasharama man posted a pic earlier on YouTube of Trump while the White House was burning up behind him, and Trump is sitting there with a Roman garment texting on his phone. Like, Trump don't give a fuck about what's going on, man. This was all elaborate, man. This was all a scheme, a con. Because some of you people, man, it was set up for Biden to do the shit that he did. That's why they put that brain dead spaghetti ass motherfucker in their office, man. So that when Trump came back in, it was going to look like he's doing and getting shit done. But meanwhile, you got 11 countries that have already acknowledged or said that they're done using the dollar, man. They've stopped using it. 11 other countries. I don't know what they are. Just look it up. But I mean, the dollar held power at one point in time. And you know, these other nations said that the reason they're backing away from the dollar is because they want to strengthen their own currency, man. So, but that right there in itself, we know that currency, you know, controls things right now. You know, so America seeing these nations being like, huh, you ain't gonna use my money? What are you trying to say? I mean, you know, that should have caused friction. But you've been seeing America losing its power for you know, years. I mean, really in the last couple, you know, since shit, I want to say, like, I can't give you an exact year, but you know, ever since, what was that year for me? Like 2021, 2022. I mean, when the COV, you know what, came around, you saw a lot, you know, a lot of the small businesses closed, which was all systematic and set up. That was all meant to happen that way. You know, Esau wanted to cut the middle class out and just make it either you rich or you poor. You know, the whole foundation of America was that to do away with nobility and, you know, keep the pockets of the fat ass elites rich. All right. And Esau's been trying to cover that shit up or close that loophole up for a minute, and he did it with, you know, the stab and jab. Okay, but you've been seeing the decline of America, man. Every day, man. Targets, a whole fucking 1,000 Targets are closing. You know, claiming for Walmart needs to pick it up, and you know, Kohl's, Bank of America, the whole thing with Bank of America and what was it, Chase Bank. You know, accounts going crazy. You know, money couldn't be handed out. All right. Macy's closing. JCPenney's closing. All these fucking places, man, that people... Man, I used to go to JCPenney's and Target for fun when I was a kid. All right? You know, it was part of the mall, and I'd go in the mall and walk around it and have fun. But, you know, you're seeing the grind to slowly come to cease, like it says in Ecclesiastes. Businesses shutting down, the mirth of the city, the town shutting down. You know, people are more concerned about just having something left while they watch shit go up in flames. And this was all meant to happen. But do you see that? Are you aware of what's going on, man? Because the scriptures, this is all about the scriptures, man. From Yahweh B'Shem Shah, the Lord told us about these things that they were going to happen. You know, the Apostle Ramla went into a lesson like a year ago about the word destroy. That's why I love using that word. Because when you look it up, the word destroy comes from destructuralize or destructure, which to structuralize means to build. But the Lord is destructuralizing America. So he's destroying it. He's destructuralizing, taking away the foundation, taking away the support, taking away the backing, everything, man. And that's through the economy, you know, everything, man. The import, the trade, you know, because now you got, what is that? Basically, we're having more shit imported to this country than we're exporting, and that causes that causes debt. That causes debt, because now we're having to pay, now we're putting out more money from the country than we're getting in, which we've already been in a deficit or debt for the longest fucking time, man. America's been what, man? It's trillions, between 44 and 70 something trillion, I think. All right, and the scriptures say that woe to him that laded himself with deep clay, or that molded himself with deep clay. Okay, and that goes into debt. America's been in debt, man, from day one. Not to mention the spiritual aspect of it, the spiritual debt that it's been in. All right, this place was only, man, I was listening to what is it, Big Iron by Marty Robbins, because I was watching Apostle Gabar's video and the brother posted it, and so I went to go listen to it. And I was like, wait a minute, I've already heard this song. I hear it damn near every day at my job, because these crackers listen to that song, my boss. So, but in the song it says, Texas Red, you know, has a big iron on his hip, but he's here to do business with it. You know, this was all meant to happen only for a reason, man. Okay? You know, Esau was here to do exactly what he's doing, man, and he's getting it done. He's doing it. The Lord, you know, given his power, given some of his own power to allow this place to stand, but it was only through the Lord that Esau could do anything that he did. Because even, I always mention that book, How the White Folk Got So Rich. When you look in the book and you read within the first few pages, it goes into how America's system and structure was held up by a rickety scaffold of deception, fraud, and lies. So a place like that, in actuality, it's impossible for a place like that to stand. But Esau's done such a well job of covering up his lies and molding, again, with more and more clay. Every time he sees a crack, he molds and closes it up. But, you know, the scriptures say that he is wearied in his enchantments. He's getting tired of doing that. It's getting, how do you say it, wearisome. It's getting tiring having to cover up and keep those lies hidden. But the Lord, again, is destructuralizing this place little by little. He's taking away little by little by little. But that's why it's able to happen, because the Lord gave him Esau that power. What I'm just trying to get at is that, you know, everything here that was done was, you know, was only able to be possible because the Lord allowed it to stand. But the Lord he's been done with Esau. He was done from Esau from day one. But, you know, the whole thing with, you know, being Cain and the Lord is going to judge him personally, that's all the way up until this time. That's been happening all the way up until this time, man. All right, the Lord gave this man a few days to repent or to stop his shit, and he couldn't, and he wouldn't, and he didn't, and he never will. All right? The reason why I say a couple of days, because a day is a year, a day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day to the Lord. All right? To us, it's been what, like 6,000 years? I think man's only been here for like 5,500 years, maybe, or maybe 5,000. You know, I know it's around that. But, yeah, that's 5 days for this devil to stop his shit, and he ain't. So the Lord is making his, you know, next moves. Because, look, man, I look at Trump, man, I'm like, damn, like, he don't give a fuck. He really don't. He's being cruel, man. He really is. He's being fierce. Just like it said in Isaiah 19, that the Lord will set a fierce and cruel king against the Egyptians. All right? Or for the Egyptians, my bad. So, yeah, man, I mean, it's a lot. But one thing we do know, you know, by having this word and this understanding, is that, what the fuck is this? That this place is going down. I don't know what that is. Fire all these clowns. Hands off. That's hands off my democracy. Reclaim democracy. That's hilarious. Muskrat, Elon Muskrat. Hands off veterinary service. Hands off freedom. I'm gonna have to record that. I'm gonna have to show y'all. I mean, hey, man. I mean, like that's where we're at. The people are catching on, man. What does it say in Job? That all hands of the wicked shall be upon Esau. You know, that's going into what is, I believe, the word Imal. No. Imal, I believe. I think where it's talking about the working class, the laborer, which is, you know, you people. But they're catching on to it. So, you know, shit, man. Hey, look, if you're being dealt with by Yahweh Shem Shai, man, then you should be able to definitely see it. That because you're you know, the Lord only sets up a man to be a watcher. Okay? Only sets him up to be watching and aware. You know, that's why Yahweh Shai spoke about, you know, it said, take ye heed, you know, at least your hearts be overcharged by the surfeiting and the drunkenness and the cares of this world. And he said, in that day, take you unaware. All right? So everybody, you know, thinks that they only need to know a little bit about what's going on just to be like, oh, yeah, I've heard about it. But what are you doing with knowing about it? Do you know that it affects you? It's going to directly affect you. Do you know that it's a move? It's another move to come at your so-called freedom. All right. Do you know that these elites and globalists, lobbyists, technocrats, whatever, man, they all, which ultimately all going back to Esau, that they're going to do and make their moves regardless of what you are trying to fight for, man. And they know that you're going to resist. You Americans, man, they know that you're going to resist. They're ready for you, man. All right, let's keep that in mind. So, are you ready? And what do you put your trust in? Now, this is going to Jake. What do you put your trust in? Because you ain't going to win this fight against Esau, man. Because the Lord has given an amount of power to Esau to be able to take all you motherfuckers on this planet. And the Lord is also but the Lord has the power to stop you from also being taken by him. Or, consumed by him. So you got to be ready, man. You got to be aware. You got to be watching. All right. So, just something I wanted to make while I'm driving to town, man. I got to take care of a couple of errands. But, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshai, Ba'ashem Kakmadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone, which rule well. Peace and much love, honors and blessings to the elect of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshai, which hold their conduct, composure, and integrity. To the next one I say, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshai, Barakathum. Kwam Mesha Allah, Shalom. Shalom, for tuning in. Shalom.